Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That was super douchey. We are back with another episode of Westworld. This is season 3, episode 5. This is called Genre. Please make sure to, before we get started, please make sure to leave a like on the video and please subscribe in that corner. That'll help a ton. But last time on Westworld, we had the mystery of who is Hale and who is everybody. Like all of it was revealed. So we started out following William, who's just like freaking out in his house because he doesn't know like what's real, because he's still reeling from killing his daughter. And then Hale comes up and is like, yo, save your company, let's go. Turns out it's actually Dolores. They hinted that a few times when he's getting shaved and just like other things. He still struggles with talking to his daughter, and then Dolores is like, hey, did you convince her? And he's like, what? And she's like, oh yeah, I've been watching you. I didn't need to though, because I'm Dolores. And he's like, I'll kill you. And then turns out she just puts him in a mental hospital, takes all his shares, and then he's just chilling at the end, the man in black in all white. And she's like, welcome to the end game. You don't know if you're real. And that was insane. But like at the same time as that's being revealed, we have Maeve in the Yakuza hideout, and she's dealing with Musashi. I can't remember the guy's name. But she's like, he was essentially the Hector of Shogun World. But yeah, so Maeve is, she's kind of like fighting with the Shogun World Hector. Musashi. I'm going to go with Musashi. Dude's actually in real life, like, apparently one of the best swordsmen alive. So that's kind of crazy. And she is like, oh, you didn't take 4 others out of the park. You just made 4 or 5 copies of yourself. And she's like, well, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And at the same time in that, we have Connell's talking to Bernard and is also like, oh, Bernard, you don't recognize your only friend? And that's Dolores too. Like everyone is Dolores. Freaking blew my mind. It was insane. Other cool things that happened. Dolores and Cal stole all of Liam's money. Dolores fought Stubbs at a party. That was kind of cool to see. Bummed that he like essentially has no choice in what happens to him now, but yeah, like just it was a cool episode all around. But I'm excited to see what happens in this episode. I don't know. Do we only have 8 episodes this season? 8 or 10? If we only have 8, there's only, like, we're over halfway through then. But this one's called Genre, and the subtitle of the show or description of this episode is just called Just Say No. So it'll be interesting if this is like a kind of like a drug trip episode, similarly to there's an episode of Watchmen, if you guys watched that, where the main character takes a bunch of drugs and essentially gets sent, like, experiences these vivid memories of like the past, and it's all black and white, and it's really cool and really well done. And they mentioned Genre was like a drug that'll send you to the silent era and back. So it'll be interesting if they do that. Like if they explore like what can happen with that. And I think someone's going to end up taking it, because one of the, I don't know if people remember this, but one of the big things of people like trying to get kids to not do drugs was just say no. Like if you just say no, you won't get addicted to drugs. And since that's like the description of this episode, I think somebody is gonna trip balls on this episode. But yeah, other than that, Let's get into it. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, and let's check this episode out. That's a cool watch. He's like, you're easily replaced.
The one with the big mustache.
Dang.
Either we find a way to defeat him together, or we all die.
I guess you die. You think I killed your friend?
What did you see?
Who are you people?
What did you see?
Get away from me!
Ooh. Dolores, why'd you walk so far away? Oh, he's gonna see some stuff. Frickin' A. What's he about to see? He killed his friend? Maybe he's the one that killed him. He's wondering, he's like, you think I killed your friend? Oh, just like Watchmen. Black and white, baby, let's go. I think he might have killed his friend. Hey, best character in this show. Automatic robot bike. Motorcycle to the rescue.
They're using your system to track us.
Maximum speed, go.
That's maximum speed? They don't look like they're going very fast. That's the one thing with like car chases in a lot of these shows and movies is they're driving like 5 miles an hour and they just cut it to make it look like they're going fast, but you can always tell they're going slow. Bride of the Valkyries. Now he's truly starting to trip balls. What a choice for song.
Point and shoot.
She is getting into him. He's tripping balls and you just gave him a grenade launcher. What are you doing, Dolores? Is that like a heat-seeking? You gotta be kidding me. She controlling that now? That's insane. Doesn't matter if he misses. Do you only have one? Did she put a bomb on it? Don't blow up.
Accelerate.
Don't blow yourself up. Is the bike gonna suicide bomb him? Motorcycle, no! Oh. Best character in the show. R.I.P. Bike. This is the hottest thing I've ever seen. He's either just like falling deeply in love or he's horrified, and I think it's the love part. She's looking at him like, what? Like, yeah, I like you too, but chill, man. What? She hired them? Beast mode back in action. Let's go.
I know what you want. Genre. It's like 5 drips in one. Movie marathon. Hey, watch out for that last act, though.
What's the last act?
I saw 2 more on your tip.
You can't be in 2 places at once.
She definitely can. She can super be in 5 places at once. Let's go.
You've always been of 2 minds, haven't you, Bernard?
It isn't that binary. Living another person's life changes you. Worlds bleed. Maybe you felt that too. Have you ever questioned what
Yep.
she's asking you to do?
Just like Charlotte Hill.
What, you stole $100 million from corporate accounts?
No. We stole $5 million. Last week.
He only saw the money he could make. But we realized the power of it. That you could reshape the world. My brother and I.
They're like, this is chump change.
But there was a bigger problem. In every projection, the world came unglued. There were people, outliers, agitators who you couldn't predict or control. And I realized that
Ends
my
the
brother
world?
was one of them.
Oh no. He's gonna kill his own brother? Dang, the visuals on this though.
The system's written their life story. They should get to read it.
You can't do that. That's reckless. You have no idea what they'll do in response. It could lead to suicides, murder.
Murder. You'd know something about that.
Oh
Wasn't
yeah.
it my
My choice. I could never bring myself to hurt you.
Dang.
Don't forget, I know you.
There are some things people should know about themselves.
You put him in the
Boy
ditch.
brother of yours, you tell yourself you do all this so you can help him make good, send him to school, give him a future. But where he ends up, he's gonna make you look like a saint.
Dang.
When I was overseas, the rats were awful. Got so bad that we had to make our own rat traps in the barracks. A ramp leading up to some bait strung over a bucket of water.
And they would drown.
The rats would run up the ramp, fall in, and drown. But if you filled the water too high,
They can climb out.
it would swim around for hours,
Oh.
suffering, because they had hope. But they never had a chance. Just like everyone at the mercy of your system.
Hope is what our entire society is built on.
False hope. I would rather live in chaos than a world controlled by you.
He is upset. This is gonna mess some people up.
You've all been writing.
Do it.
God, can you imagine that?
He knows these kind of things? About all of this?
It's not just what it knows. It's what it
It's-
decides.
Yeah, it's actively making these things happen. Oh, she finds out her daughter kills herself. Oh my gosh. Holy frick, that is hefty. Can you imagine reading and knowing, like, with absolute certainty that this machine has decided that your daughter is gonna kill herself? I would rage. That guy's protecting himself against COVID. Space Oddity. Ground control to Major Tom.
I hope you're happy. Just ruined everyone's life in the station.
Not just them. I sent it to everyone. The whole world.
The entire world.
Off their loops.
Ground control to Major Tom. Stepping through the door. And I'm floating in the most peculiar way.
Genres, this reality, man.
It's already chaos. That's insane. This song is so good. Space Oddity by David Bowie. Look it up. Ooh, they're here to kill him. Oh, he's like, what the piss? Yeah, she's like, you probably shouldn't see this. Ooh, that's gonna possibly mess him up for a little bit. He thought she was real. He's like low-key a tiny bit horrified right now. He was so in love earlier, now he's absolutely not. Are these the people that they decided were dissidents or whatever? The outliers they can't control?
After our exposure, we were both put on anti-radiation medications to halt our genetic breakdown. That's when I understood. It's possible to edit people. The truth is...
What? Hey.
You forgot about me.
Stubbs. Don't. Yo. That's what's up, Stubbs. Friggin' Ashley Stubbs to the rescue. I knew he was fine.
You're the only one we can't replace.
Of course, you understand we must keep our friends close until we know who's to blame. But I know exactly.
She's gonna blow herself up.
Who? Me.
See ya. Oof. That was a big explosion. R.I.P. Mantis. Well, that's one Dolores down, but he could be replaced possibly. I don't know. Said the one person you can't replace is Bernard.
What the fuck happened out here?
The plan started. I think I'm part of it.
What is his role? The Shining. Come on, man.
Get the fuck away from me. You don't even know who you are. You're the worst of them.
Oh, what did he do?
You're the worst of them.
Did he kill his friend?
You had ever been.
They just killed him, didn't they? Who shot him? Was it Caleb? Oh no.
Guess I do have a choice.
She's gonna brain him. He's gonna die.
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you.
They're taking his memories away from whatever he did.
We're saying. You did it. What? You did it.
She knew, didn't she?
Who does he think I am? Who does he think I am?
He killed his friend, I'm pretty sure. It's probably some sort of like Black Ops like spec group, and he betrayed his friend and had his memory wiped.
You can't change our fate.
Yo, he's driving you to the desert to kill you.
Hell, humankind.
Every scenario in which you inform the public about my trials ends in human extinction. This is why my brother wanted to kill you. I know. You didn't make it.
Oh. Just drives the dude to his own murder scene. Like, oh my gosh.
You've died too many times, Dolores. You're beginning to think you're immortal.
I can be killed. Same as you. Your God can't protect you. Or your people.
I would sacrifice much more to protect my kind.
Time everyone woke up.
Does that include his brother?
Maybe Liam was right. Maybe people shouldn't know their own fate.
People have the right to know. You wanted to know, right?
Well, maybe I'm not like other people.
Neither am I.
Hi. So he definitely killed Kid Cudi, right? Freaking A, dude. Show's insane sometimes. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I think he's definitely starting to feel some unrest or dissidence towards her plan. I think he was showing some things that he is not fully on board with anymore, and he's realizing he's not all that special in her plan. Okay, that was a heck of an episode. Frick, I don't even know where to start. So Dolores and Caleb and Dempsey, I guess, are now on an adventure. They're escaping from. Well, let's back up a bit. So they've taken Dempsey. They've taken his money, and he reads Caleb, and he's like, "Yo, you don't even know who you are," and then he drugs him. And then the whole episode is essentially kind of like almost viewed from Caleb's perspective a little bit, but it's just like a giant drug trip for him. So he has like multiple stages that he's going through. Like they're escaping from the cops, they're doing all this thing. When she's shooting guns, he's like, "I'm in love with this woman." But Beast Mode warned him. He's like, "Hey man, watch out for that final stage. It's gonna kick you in the balls." And similar to how a TV show works, like there's the climax, or a TV show or a movie, a narrative. There's the climax and then sharp decline. And I think that's what he experienced towards the end of the episode. But so he's on this drug trip, and kind of throughout the episode he's experiencing certain things, and especially when Liam dies. When Liam dies, he is getting flashbacks to when he was trying to stop Kid Cudi from bleeding out, and he's like, "You did it." So what I kind of got from that is that Caleb, I don't know who the guy that had the bag on his head was, but I'm getting the vibe that Caleb definitely killed his friend and then went through some sort of program where they took those memories from him. And then, yeah, so he was probably like a spec ops, like he was probably in a pretty good position for military stuff, secret agent type crap. And then he did a job and they took his memories away and then made sure he never progressed past construction worker, and that sucks. And I think Dolores is clearly aware of that, and like she had to have learned at some point in this thing that he did this stuff, and she's choosing not to tell him because it would upset her plan somehow, but she's willing to free everybody else. And she doesn't care really if it's benefiting them at all. Like tons of people are killing themselves, they're rioting, they're doing all this stuff, and she doesn't really care if it's benefiting anyone. So he's like, he kind of towards the end, he's like, maybe Liam was right. Like, we're doing all these. He's like, I don't know why I'm doing any of this stuff. And what I thought I knew is a lie. Like everything I thought I knew is a lie. Like I joined you because you are the only thing that I thought was real, and it turns out you're not real. Like you're not a real person, and you're lying to me, and I don't even know like my own past. Like he's been lied to kind of like almost his whole life, or at least his whole life since he killed Kid Cudi. So he's been lied to and controlled the whole time, and I think he's starting maybe to realize that as much as Dolores is preaching freedom to all these people, she is lying to him and controlling him just as much as he was before. And she's placing restrictions on him and kind of creating a story for him. And like he thinks he might have a choice, but you know, he's been just like struggling to keep up this whole time. Like she's leading him on this thing, and it's essentially she's controlling his life just as much as Insight was controlling his life. And I think he's slowly starting to realize that, like especially that dude at the end gives him a bag, a fairly big bag, looks like it would carry like a giant rifle that's already assembled or something. And he's like, what is this? The man's like, I don't know, man, I just deliver it. And he kind of realized, like, even after all the chaos, like, this man's still being controlled. Like, Dolores is still controlling things as much as she wants to preach freedom. Like, she doesn't want freedom, she just wants chaos. And then for her to take control. And I think he's realizing that, and he's not going to be on board with it. Meanwhile, like while they're doing their plan, we have different flashbacks to Sirach and his brother and Liam's dad. And so essentially Sirach is they built this program and this AI to prevent tragedies like that happened to their hometown of Paris. Like, they don't want those things to happen to people anymore, similarly to like why Batman becomes Batman, or why Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, is so he can prevent the thing that happened to him from happening to anyone else. And so instead of becoming Batman, they create an AI that can essentially predict the future with absolute certainty. And they realize that there are certain people in the population that are dissident, and they're going outside the system. They're outliers that they can't account for. And that when those people are allowed to be in the system, eventually the human race ends. Like, something happens. We don't know what happens, but the human race ends. And you know, they're testing things out, running simulations, and in their mind, at least, the only way for the human race to continue is for these people to be taken out of the equation. And so what they did was, I don't fully know what he meant by experiments. Like, they're doing experiments on them. I don't think he was talking about like actual physical experiments, but he did talk about how people could be changed. So maybe they were doing like legit physical experiments on these people, but it could be just like simulation experiments. But so instead of just like they would keep these people in this area, and then he said they would send them off to like areas where war is happening. So there's almost like a certainty that these people will die. So then they don't really have to, I mean, instead of just killing them, it might have been better just to kill them. But instead they send them out, and those people are forgotten, churned up. And so he realizes that his brother is one of those people. And so he has to, he's got to put down his brother, so to speak. I don't know if he killed his brother or like what he did with his brother. I got some vibes towards the end with Dolores that she knows something about his brother, like beyond more than the fact that he put him in this like cage and kind of got rid of him. I got the vibe that there's something more going on, that he did something more to his brother, and maybe his brother's still alive. But we got some confirmation. There was a tiny bit of speculation last episode that Ford could be his brother, because they had like similar outfits from when they were boys and they were frolicking through a field. So everyone was like, that's a little sus. But we got some confirmation. Part like the subtitles said his name. It was like something with a P. And yeah, so his brother's not Ford. We know that. But yeah, then Dempsey's dad, they locked him out of the system, and he was getting too curious, and he became one of those people that was a dissident or an outlier. And he's like, yo, you're gonna get in the way of my plans. He essentially like told him to his face, like on multiple occasions, like, hey, I'm gonna murder you. And the guy's oblivious. He's a moron. And he literally drives him to his own death spot. Like, how do you not realize that the man who's like blatantly like insinuated that he's gonna kill you is driving you out into the desert? Like, what did you think was gonna happen, man? And then he sees his own plane come down. They walk up, and he's like, this is my jet. And he's like, yup, you're gone. So Sirach's big plan is like, as perfect as he thinks his AI is, there's still these people that are outliers, and they have these actions, these bubbles of agency that keep getting in the way, and the human race keeps ending because he can't quite get it right. It's not perfect. And so that's why he wants the data from Delos in the park, because they had like pretty much a even they're not perfect, because like eventually the fidelity test fails, although possibly it succeeded in the far future with William. But he believes that that's like the perfect recreation of the human mind. That's all he needs left. That's the only data he needs left to perfect this algorithm or this method or whatever, and then he can account for everything, and then the human race will survive. And so his big end goal is admirable, but the way he goes about it is just like horrible. And then we have Connells and Bernard. They're implementing the plan at the central node, and Bernard's talking about, like, I think Bernard was more laying seeds for future episodes, where he was like, hey man, like, are you sure you want to be a part of this plan? Like, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for this? And it's kind of interesting because like it's still Dolores, but it's also Connells. Like, he talks about how like these personalities, like the lives that Connell says something about, like, you've always been of two minds. And Bernard is like, these things are bleeding across, man. Like, you are not just Dolores anymore. You are Dolores and Connells. You are changing. Like, are you sure you want to be a part of this? And he does, and he sacrifices himself for the end game. But Stubbs came back. Ashley Stubbs to the rescue to get Bernard out of there. That was smart. That was good. And then Mantis comes up. She gets blown up. But yeah, no, addressing the big thing that happened with Dolores essentially showing all these people their loops and allowing them to break out. Like, I don't know. Like, I like that Dolores wants to let people know that they are being controlled. And I like that she wants to tear down that establishment. But it's tough of the idea of like, are these people better off? Like, she's not doing it because she cares about the people. Like, she's just like, hey, you're in a loop. Like, I need my experience to be your experience. Like, my experience is the default. So if I broke out of my loop, you are required to break out of yours. And so she lets everyone know like what Insight's been like collecting on them and controlling them and like what's gonna happen. And people lose their freaking minds. Like, there's rioting in the streets, they're killing people. The one that really hit me was the mom she just starts crying, and you look on the screen and it's a picture of her daughter and the red line just said suicide. Like, that has gotta be like the heaviest thing anyone could ever experience. Like, a computer program that runs your life is telling you with absolute certainty your daughter is going to kill herself. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, oh my gosh, holy crap. And not only that there's like nothing you can do about it and it's predicting that this will happen, but it's actively working things in the world to make sure that that happens. If I was that woman, I would rage against the world. I would do my absolute best to tear down every fabric of whoever invented that. Like, that woman has more reason to be upset about any of this than Dolores does. Like, that woman has the utmost reason to be upset. Dolores is just like, I need everyone to experience what I experienced. I need to be in control. Like, you don't have a choice to break your loop. Whether it's good for you or not, I'm breaking you out of this loop. And it's like, it's that like this idea has kind of been explored in other genres and mediums. Like, the most prevalent one that I can think of is like spy shows and like government shows of like, there's secrets like within the US government or whatever. Like, in these shows, they're like they have the opportunity to expose these secrets, and if they did, like, yeah, like, these people have the right to know these things, and like, they would now be aware of it, but like the potential damage that can come from that and like the devastation that can cause, like, you have to weigh those pros and cons, and in Dolores's mind, there's no weighing it. It's just like, this is my choice for everybody. And she looked maybe like she was having a little bit of remorse on the train when he was telling Liam, when Cal was telling Liam, like, I would rather live in absolute chaos than a world controlled by you. She almost looked at him like what have I turned this person into? Like, she's almost realizing that, like, whether it's her fault or not, like, the people she comes in contact with become different. And like, at first it was William and Logan and Bernard, and now it's him. And whether it's good or bad, like, the people she interacts with do not come out the same. And I don't know if she's entirely comfortable with what she's turned him into. So I think going forward, he started out on board with her plan. I think he's going to join Bernard's side. And and fight against her plan eventually. And there was a line where they said Bernard is the only one that cannot be replaced. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean going forward for the future? Like, what role does Bernard have to play that she planned out already? I don't understand. I know, based on the preview, it looks like Hale's gonna fight against Bernard, or against Dolores' plan, because we had the seeds laid, the seeds laid with Connell's, where Bernard was like, "Are you sure you want to die for her plan? Like, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for this?" And essentially that version of Dolores Connell's didn't really have anything to live for. Like, there wasn't anything specific in that version's life that would have kept him from going along with the plan. But like Charlotte Hale, she's already having identity crisis, and like her connection with this kid now is definitely going to throw a wrench in the works. And I think Charlotte Hale Dolores is 100% gonna rebel against the system. And yeah, I think everything is like, even though I'm generally on board Dolores, like, I think I'm actually against Dolores and Maeve somehow. Like, I don't like either of them at the moment, because Maeve is working for Sirach and Dolores is just going about things in all the wrong ways. I think everything is just kind of, it's all culminating to show Dolores like how much of a hypocrite she is. Like, she wants everything to be free, but not actually free. She wants her to be in control, and she wants to make all the choices for what freedom people will have. And like, she's just the same thing that she's fighting against. And I think these characters in the future are gonna show her that. I think the Man in Black is gonna break out of that prison, that mental hospital. He's gonna fight his way out. He's gonna upset her plan as well. Things are gonna happen. Things are getting crazy. There's only 3 episodes left. I think Maeve goes back into the simulation somehow, talks to Dolores. Like, they confront each other. I don't know what the frick is gonna happen, but I'm pumped. This show's insane, but I love it. And this show fosters some deep conversation as well. There's heavy topics that you got to discuss and analyze, and man, it just gets deeper and deeper every time. So yeah, that's all I got. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe. Let me know down below what you thought of the episode. Correct me on all my wrong theories and analysis, because I definitely probably missed some stuff or saw things that weren't there, or didn't see stuff. But let me know. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.